Hey everybody, it's Chad Warren from the Adventurer Channel on YouTube and the adventurerchannel.com/blog. Hey, check it out. Here's a barge going by here on the Arkansas River, Murray Park. There's the little tugboat that moves this whole barge. So this post is by William Terry Clogston. He's a friend of mine that I met through Connor and Jordan Pope, and he is attending university. I forget exactly where. I think it's in Texas. And he, I think, is interested in journalism. I know he's really a good sportscaster, and I look forward to his professional career as it develops. I am nonpartisan. I am disgusted by anybody who chooses left versus right. That is the fundamental tool the rich use against the rest of us. It's called the Hegelian dialectic. You divide the people in order to conquer them. But I agree with his point here, and I just wish that the alt-right would see that when the left acts ridiculous, they are too. If you can see this behavior over here and see that it's stupid, and then somebody like me goes, well, what about what y'all are doing over here? That would be progress to go, I see what you're saying, Chad. So, here's your shot, alt-right. And here's your shot, progressive left, to see that your anti-fascist behavior is the epitome of fascist. And you info warriors, Alex Jones butt kissers on the alt-right, your way that you are addressing the issues that you care about are the epitome of growing a large central government. So, William says, all sides of the aisle should be against this. To go outside the man's home where his wife and children live and harass them with a mob is quite frankly disturbing. I don't care what you think of his show or his political views, this type of response should never be condoned. So yeah, I mean, I definitely react that way when I see these videos where somebody's in a restaurant and all of these liberals like, we're going to ruin your meal. You're the only person that has a problem. And my whole point is like all of us, Chad Warren, me, all of us, okay? If you are participating in the money system, which is controlled by gangsters who create money out of nothing, and they imprison all of us in this debt system, it's just a modern form of slavery, okay? None of the taxes are going to pay for roads. It's all to keep this system of gangsters running the world in charge. And then the argument is like, well, they're just better at this than us, so we should just let them run things because that's how we have order. Because if we speak up and try to develop ourselves as individuals who can cooperate, then they aren't going to like it, and they're going to cause war. So just shut up and watch TV, consume, and let that be your God while we talk about Jesus, while we talk about caring about nature. Okay, that's the basic idea. You cannot promote Tucker Carlson and then say that you're an honorable person or that you care about humanity. You can't. Nor can you promote any of these other media people, whether they are in the alternative media, because it's like, me right now, my point is, like, we need to just at least recognize our own hypocrisy, right? I am depending on YouTube, as are all these alternative media people, and as are all of us by being on social media. We do not have the wherewithal to do something about the fact that some of us recognize, hey, yeah, we need to have our own digital rights, right? You know, America supposedly revolted from Great Britain, which it didn't. George Washington is an aristocrat, okay? That means that just like today, but even worse then, there was such a disparity between the lower class and the upper class that people will choose these strong leaders to follow rather than become a strong leader and cooperator. You see what I'm saying? So all of that was fake news. All of the American Revolution was fake news. Basically, I think, do I have the article up? Let's see here. We know where you sleep at night. This is in the National Review, which is a conservative periodical. A group of protesters congregated outside what they claimed was Fox News host Tucker Carlson's home in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday night to chant threatening messages. Smash racism! Oh, sorry. Smash racism, D.C., a self-described anti-fascist group. But they can hate white people, and that's not racist because they're white, you know. Posted a video of their members screaming obscenities at Carlson's house and blaming his policies for the deaths of thousands of people. Tucker Carlson, we will fight, the protesters chanted. We know where you sleep at night. They posted a video to Twitter. One protester can be seen ringing Carlson's doorbell before running away. Racist scumbag, leave town! Okay, so, yeah. I mean, would you want somebody to do that to you? Could you imagine that somebody on the right would think that way of you? You should say yes. It doesn't matter if you agree with it. You should say yes, that's true. So it's probably not really an effective tactic. And why is it? I mean, I like this in the at least that somebody higher up in the pyramid of control is being threatened. Rather than just, some neighbors fighting each other at a bar or something like that. In terms of where is the source of power, and it's actually both at the top in the control of money and information and resources, and then here at the bottom in that we have the ability to organize, which we don't. We're retarded and don't know how to do, so that's our corruption of the people, that we participate in a government that is given to us by the people at the top. It's not our government. So they're threatening them. We remind you that you're not safe. Here's every night you spread fear into our homes. True, the media does. Fear of the other, fear of us, and fear of them. Each night you tell us we are not safe. Tonight you're reminded that we have a voice. Tonight we remind you that you are not safe. Okay, so collectivists. So they assume to speak for everyone. Okay, here's the difference. I'm an individual, right? And yes, I am trying to persuade you to adopt my view, right? But the method that I am doing is a question. I am not declaring that you do think as I should, right? And I didn't invent how I am thinking. I am referring to history and examples of what is the justification for correct human behavior, right? That's a debate. You see what I'm saying? So it's that, there's two sides to everything, and it's like, we certainly don't want bogus protest movements like the pink hats. That's something that's paid for by this corporate interest to control the woman's point of view, right? Whatever the point of view, these bankers want to control it. And they do the same thing for the alt-right, where they have, in this example, it's Tucker Carlson. And so, like, going back to William, the difference between the point of view of William and I, as I understand it, is William represents more of a traditional Republican, that they are the ones that, accepted that Trump was chosen. They had to choose him because there was no other candidate, so they went along with him, right? And then I was in the camp that I used to, long ago, believe in Alex Jones, right? The people that were talking about suppressed information about how the Federal Reserve is these private bankers and is not the will of the people. That even if you are a patriot, you have to look and see, hey, this United States has been, never was, I'm more radical than most, and never was legitimate, So I'm looking for like an American revolution that, instead of the reality of what America has exported, is not freedom, but it's Pizza Huts to Iraq, which are weapons to control people by making them sick through eating expensive food, by using magic in the form of advertising to overwhelm any local resistance to these Zionists, this organized mafia of Israel. That's what it is. These are people that used knowledge that they gained when they were captives in Babylon, and they were taught by, I believe it was King Cyrus, how to run a government. That was how he defeated these Jews. Instead of fighting them when they were these poor mercenaries who moved rocks, he said, I know how to beat these people. I will get them hooked on my scam, which is bureaucracy. Okay. So then I commented and I said, people who are celebrities or news people or politicians should be threatened, but not in a left versus right political way, but in a ruling class of money masters versus wage slaves way. We should not stand by this form of gangster-run government. We should aspire to do more than consume and watch sports. Our whole government is just all about reinforcing this money system, right? Where we're one level removed from nature, and that everything has to go through these middlemen that don't do anything other than use their King Solomon sigil magic on the dollar bills to mind control us, to spiritually control us. And then you've got Christians that think that they can vote for Trump, and then you've got Jews that are like, yay, Trump, we're putting you on a shekel because you are responsible for allowing Israel to really openly run America after it was already us running it all the time anyway, through the Masons and all that jazz, and open this temple, the rebuilding of this temple, which is the Zionist goal, which does not reflect what all of the Jews want. And they will gladly sacrifice their own Jewish people, as they did in the Holocaust, in order to get their goal of causing the Messiah to come through this sacrificial magic, pagan, just like in the Old Testament when Moses goes up to the Mount Sinai to get the Ten Commandments, and he comes down, and the Israelis, the Israelites had backslid into Baal worship. I think we are as guilty as the rich because we want to live like consumer pets. I think we should take positive bipartisan action to solve life's challenges versus engage in a civil war which only supports the gangster-run police state I oppose. However, disruption to our daily life would be better than continuing to tolerate how we live as vassals of a monetary system that creates an artificial, controlled economy with manufactured fights managed by media. That's what it's all about. That's what we should be holding in common. Nature. We are a part of nature, right? And these control freaks, they want to control anything that you could ever do so that you're in their system. You're their pawn and they're the chess master. The migrant caravan is a case in point. Do you want both sides of everything managed by a few psychopathic rich people? Just be fair. When you see that these anti-fascist activists are misled, realize that the militias that are going to the border to kill Mexicans out of a sense of hate and defense are also dangerous to our freedom. Using the National Guard is promoting a standing army that is run by the private banker-run federal government. This is not, originally the idea was that you had state militias. The National Guard is a private corporation run by the bankers, as is the Marines. The Marines is like a literal private, it was the first private banker-run army. That's why they're the baddest. Conservatives are supposed to be people who are disciplined enough to not let their emotions erode their judgment. However, because of Trump and how people have no good male role models, we have a gangster in chief. People like to see him talk tough to Jim Acosta, but they don't see how this is bringing back what caused the fall of Rome from within. That is what the play Julius Caesar is about. When one man degrades the office of president, as each president has done for quite a long time, if really the whole thing. When one man degrades the office of president by making it about his view dominating over the majority as supported by voters, this encourages people to attack, because all you have to do to become king is assassinate and have the blessing of military force as the only means to restore order. I think it is understandable that we are becoming more agitated and see each other as enemies. We know the system is flawed, but we don't know how to fix the problem. The Trump solution can only cause chaos to worsen because he only represents half the people at best. We are all to blame for not learning from history and seeking to cooperate with each other and have a true revolution of the people. The original American Revolution was run by aristocrats and was fake news. They tricked ignorant peasants that they were free. What excuse do we have to worship false idols? Did not Jesus show us that we must respect the light of Christ within us individually? Can you not see through division that when a Buddhist says namaste and they bow to the Buddha in you, the Christ within you, that this is a universal understanding? It's not. That's the difference between understanding, which should foment action, versus a religion that locks us into fighting other people. Then we should gather ourselves in an assembly of united individuals, not a united state. A state is a tool of empire that is communist. It is a set of rules one must adhere to in order to have the right to live, do business, own property, etc. Essentially to be recognized as human, right? Versus in the past, when there was less authoritarian centralized control, we had to defend our sense of humanity. It's a world of the hunters and the hunted, you see? And we are still in that world. That's what's so evil, is that I understand people wanting civilization. I understand people that think ignorantly that if they remove guns, that we'd be safer. They want to be safe. But you can't be afraid and safe. And then if you're making decisions based on fear, it's likely that those are going to bite you in the butt and not really be the safety you're looking for. If we're not achieving, like if you're environmental, you want to be self-sustainable, well, that involves, I can protect myself, thank you very much. I don't need people. You shouldn't have police. That's what Jesus was against. These people setting the whole legal system is based on the Jews having rabbis that were going around saying, hey, we know what God wants and we're going to tell you what to do. And if you don't do it, we're going to kill you. It's that simple. That is the foundation of the current legal system, and it needs to be destroyed or will be destroyed by Terminator robots run by these neo-rabbis. The idea of a state is a set of rules one must adhere to in order to have the right to live, do business, own property, etc. Yes, it is possible that people en masse can so misunderstand the truth as it has been distorted through media tradition, that we are this intellectually confused as a people. So if you value academic intelligentsia, you're just as backwoods ignorant as the Bible-thumping, gun-toting, ignorant, redneck Christians that have the Stand With Israel sign. You are the same people. When you give people a Bible, a Union flag, guns, civics, education, etc., from the Prussian military, go look up John Paul Gatto, the most celebrated educator, to tell you what a scam education is. Don't bust my butt for telling you you're all stupid for believing in it. It's just exactly like how drug addiction works. Even weed is dangerous, right? You got, weed, we got free weed, woo! Do you think that they would be giving us weed if they thought it would help us? No. They give us guns, whatever they give us just to hang ourselves with it. Even weed is dangerous if we don't have the discipline to create after our heart is stirred. That is a religion versus a genuine ecstasy and discipline. You see, left and right, with the source of life too. Do you see what I'm saying? Talking about virtue, right, and actually acting in a virtuous manner are as distant as a child pretending versus a real warrior people defending nature against our own nature to defer to a person acting as a lord. We don't want lords. That is a feudal system. I don't know what to do. I'm smart enough to recognize this is the smart people versus the dumb people and every other division of humanity, the weak and the strong. It's total polarization, total war. And to the point that I bring it on. You know what I mean? We need a disruption. God, that we live in an artificial environment, right? It's just like the movie Logans Run. The cop wants something more than the stupid world that he's in, and he finds this woman who's a Christian and is talking about sneaking people out of this dome city, and that there is some place beyond this dome city that was built to protect us against a nuclear accosted world. Then come to find out it's all a lie, and this is real. Even to the point that the system is trying to encourage. I am a product of the system. That's what you can see in the show The Prisoner. They are such control freaks that they make sovereigns. What do you think? Respond. And do not just say, it's incoherent. If you do that, you're stupid. You have to use reason to counter an argument. Don't make me make fun of you by your actions, right? I'm not up here doing this to kiss my own ass in front of you. I'm doing this to bring out the best of us and for us to direct this energy towards actions that are worthwhile as opposed to supporting this established order through voting and consumerism. Thank you very much.